Hey, welcome back to another ballistics gel test. Today we're going to be shooting Remington Corelokt 220 grain 30-06. And the test rifle today is my Tikka T3X Superlight Stainless, chambered in 30-06, of course, with a 22.4-inch barrel and a Leupold VX3 HD on top. We'll be taking 3 shots from 100 yards, firing into 10% ballistics gel that has been calibrated to meet the FBI's ballistics testing protocol. And while ballistics gel isn't an exact proxy for big game, it does provide a repeatable medium through which to test various bullets and ammo against each other. After the shots, we'll examine bullet expansion, weight retention, penetration, and velocity. My goal is to provide hunters like you and I with the most objective information possible to help us make the best choice for our particular hunting situation. The ballistics gel in this video has been sourced from Clear Ballistics. You can find a link in the description. So let's go ahead and shoot it. All right, we're down here at the blocks after shooting those 220 grain Corelokts out of the 30-06, and I thought we had captured all 3 bullets, but it's a little bit of a misnomer. I had one that came in real low when I shot it, and it actually skated along the plastic table under here, and so that tore the bullet up pretty good. It completely rode the plastic of the table and destroyed the table, but I'm not going to analyze that bullet or that piece for the sake of this ballistics test, just because of extenuating circumstances. It rode the table and it busted the bullet all up. But we do have 2 that are very, very intact. And I have the tape measure set up so we can look at penetration. And again, we're not going to count this rear piece because it's all busted up from riding the table for the better part of 16 inches. But these other 2, they did penetrate pretty deep. We got one at about 26, and we'll call it, we'll give it 26 and a half. And then the other one is right there. It's kind of hard to see through the top of the block, but it's right back at about 27 and a half. And let's go ahead and take a look at the velocities for those 220 grain Corelokts out of the 30-06. So our high velocity was 2,364 feet per second. Our low was 2,310, and our average was 2,338 feet per second. And here we're looking at those absolutely monstrous 220 grain Remington Corelokts out of the 30-06. First, we'll talk about weight retention. Our overall average retained weight was 201.5 grains, and we saw 201 and 202 grains respectively, so extremely consistent weight retention, and overall that works out to 92% weight retention. Next, we'll talk about expansion. Our average expanded diameter was 0.727 inches, and respectively we saw 0.742 and 0.712 inches of expansion, and overall that works out to 2.4x expansion. So we did get over 2x expansion, even though these are extremely heavy for caliber bullets. And now we'll talk about velocity. Our high velocity was 2,364 feet per second. Our low was 2,310 feet per second, for an average of 2,338 feet per second versus a build velocity of 2,410 feet per second. So we did come in a little bit slow as expected, 72 feet per second slow to be exact, but we're in the ballpark of factory stated velocity, and the spread was a little bit wider than some of the recent ammos I've tested, but not horrible, 54 feet per second spread. And now we'll talk about penetration. This is really where this 220 grain Corelokt out of the 30-06 excels, and honestly it's excelled at everything thus far, but penetration is definitely a high mark. The average penetration was 27 inches, and respectively we saw 26.5 and 27.5 inches of penetration. This is a deep penetrating, wide expanding, high weight retenting, if that's a word, load. If you're going after really big heavy game with a 30-06, this would definitely be an ammo to look at. Final thoughts on the absolute hammer of a 30-06 load, 220 grain Remington Corelokt. I've been wanting to test this load since before I started doing these ammo test videos. It had high weight retention, 92% weight retention. It actually expanded some. We got 2.4x expansion. I was even a little surprised there, being that the velocity is lower, the bullet is so heavy, we still got expansion. And then penetration, if you want a 30-06 load that'll go through something, this stuff is the ticket. And not only that, But this particular load, this particular Corelokt load, actually came very, very close to the manufacturer's stated velocity as well. If you're looking for a real heavy 30-06 load to really go through some stuff, maybe you're looking for a bear load, maybe you're hunting some really big deer, elk at closer range. I know at longer range, this kind of a bullet's gonna drop quite a bit. It's heavy, it's not very streamlined, but closer range stuff, I don't know how you could go wrong with it. Hey, if you enjoy these videos, check out my website, masonleather.com, and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. The link is in the video description. And check out my channel for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.